Okay, so warm-up problem here says describe each transformation compared to the parent function. So when they say parent function, I've said this a few times, but just to be really clear on this, the parent function would be the base function where it doesn't have anything being done to it. In other words, the one that is just strictly the shape. So for example, this is an x squared graph. So the parent function for this one would be just y equals x squared. And y equals x squared, just to give you a reminder, is your normal U-shaped graph right at 0, 0. So this is an x squared, this one's an x squared. So these are both just going to be compared to this base graph, saying how is it different? This one is absolute value, so its parent function is absolute x. And the thing you need to remember about that's our V-shaped graph at 0, 0. So that's what it means when it says compare it to the parent function. That's what we're looking at. So really we just need to say, what are all these different signs and numbers? What are they doing to the graph specifically? So we just kind of run down the line here. From yesterday, I sort of said there's all these different pieces that you want to look for. So this negative means it's going to be reflected over the x-axis. So I'm just going to kind of do it like this. I'm going to say this part reflects over x-axis. Another way to say that, you could just say it inverts the graph. You could say it flips the graph. In other words, the u is going to be facing downward because of that negative sign. This 2, that's a number greater than 1. Therefore, it's going to cause a stretch. So I would just refer to this as a stretch of 2. And then the only other piece you have to include here is what does this plus 3 do to the graph? And that's going to shift your vertex up 3 units. So up 3 units. And so that's what describing it means. Now, this problem doesn't say you have to graph it, but you could definitely graph this if you needed to. So I'm going to show this one, but I'm not going to graph all of them. But this one, if you were going to make a graph, start with the vertex. The vertex is just shifted up 3 units. 1, 2, 3. So the new vertex will be right here. And then it's going to be opening downward, and it's going to be twice as steep as the original. So in this case, it's like saying it's going to be going down 2 and over 1. So you're going to get this U shape that's narrower than the original one. And that's really it. So that's where you want to be kind of by the end of today. You should be feeling pretty comfortable that when you see this, you know that you could create a graph of it. All right, so let's just go through the descriptions on these last ones. This one, there's no negative, so it's not flipped at all. So we just have this 1/2. That's a number less than 1, so it causes a compression. So we'd say a compression of a half. And then we have 2 different shifts. We've got a left and right, and we got an up or down. So with this, negatives go to the right. This is the one that does the opposite of what you kind of expect. So this is going to go right 3 and down 2. And so I would describe where the vertex would be located. Right 3 units, down 2 units. All right, and then the last one here, this is our absolute value one. This one is negative, so I'm going to say it's going to be reflected or it's going to be flipped. Again, you can say whichever you'd like there. So I'm going to say it's reflected. There's no stretch or compression because there's no number in front of this. So all we have are the shifts, which this is going to be left 4 and down 1. So it's reflected, it's left 4, it's down 1.